Computer. Ariel is here. Good to see you, Ariel. Okay, bring the aha moments. Please, please share in the chats because your aha moments are incredible, powerful. Blanca is here. Ariel, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to see you with us. Rosalba is here. Dana, wonderful. Wow, you're all dropping in. It's so fun. Bring the aha moment. So your biggest gift is to share with us what you realize. So if there was a aha moment, maybe you can start with I realized da da da. I realized lots of aha moments. Thank you. Thank you. Ah, awesome. Okay, my moment was that it is great to charge my worth because then I can help more women. Wonderful. I love this. I realized that my inner child was still envious of people who are successful. Wow, that's huge. That's huge, especially Francis, that we are working now. Remember our case study we did? We talked about going from 10K to 30K per month, and this is going to be part of that. I see you. I know what we are doing here. We are expanding this. It's wonderful. Replay was great as my internet dropped out after 1 hour and couldn't reconnect. Great session and trusted and dusted. I'm not sure, enthusiastic. Thank you. Sorry, I have to switch off my camera. All good, all good. Awesome. So yesterday, okay, there are more people coming on. I'm letting you share more. So whoever shared aha moments, please share. And I'm gonna get you into this space and also share what's gonna happen today. I realize keeping my cost low negatively affects everyone, and keeping my cost and lifestyle low because I undervalue myself justifies keeping my prices low. Watching the replay deepened everything and brought more aha moments. Carol, it's almost like you have a program within the program going on for you. You're on the journey right now. It's so beautiful, like the big and bold, and now this, you're just it's so wonderful. I realized that I grown up lack mentality environment and buying for me just connected with consumerism and cannot buy if I don't need. Okay, wonderful. Aha moment was realizing how uncomfortable talking about money, a bit of maturity required. I have to stop my free offering now. Okay, Rasalma, there's some big changes happening. And I must say, for me, yesterday, I felt very emotional because I've been like this unicorn all my life and really believed in money and wealth and high pricing. And it's something that only my clients experienced. And people who live with me and anyone who meets me, they know I have a very strong belief in pricing and abundance, and really it is part of who I am. And I realized that this is part of what Mine Artist is, the mission. Yesterday night I realized that the movement we are building, it really is financial literacy and financial wealth and generational wealth. And it's a it's a challenging conversation to have because there's so much triggers around that. And I'm very honest, like it is a sensitive space. I know I'm walking into a space like this, like tiptoeing, and I'm holding it with all my love and care. And I also know that it's so easy to be misunderstood and to be, being it's all about the money. Or for me, it's all about love. It really is all about love and what we can create with this. So I thank you for being here because this is one of the most vulnerable, open teaching I've done in a very long time. And I feel that I'm more home than ever. I'm having tears because it's so meaningful for me what we are doing here as a community, how we are shifting into bigger shifts. So this conversation, again, I'm talking to you who are already at the higher ceiling of, you're having multiple six figures, you're going for seven figures, you're really tapping into that next level of leadership and growth. I'm also talking with you who is just starting to have your first clients, and you're like, it's all for you will find meaning and value in this conversation. Okay, so let's get started. Yesterday, we spoke about you and your relationship to money and your relationship to premium, and how that is, actually serving more people when you're doing it from the place of understanding that you are the artist. for you to be able to be an artist, you need to be able to create the best conditions for yourself to really serve at a higher level. Because without you, there's not mine artist with me. If I'm not here, if Barak is not here, mine art is not the same. And you are the artist as well for your company. So it's important that you value yourself and you make sure that you take good care of yourself because you want to be able to serve for years ahead with joy and excitement. And today I'm going to talk about the other side, which is really how do you create the connection when you created that connection with yourself that we talked about yesterday? How do you then go to day two, which is all about you and your relationship with your premium buyer? And I saw that there's some more people coming in. Hi, Benji, good to see you. Volker, good to see you. Maya, I'm so happy to see you all here. Karen, wonderful. Okay, so what I want to talk about is now that you understand that this is what you want, can you share with yes with me? I want this. Like if that is your truth, you don't have to say it for me, but if that's what you want for yourself to really step into this premium identity and you're ready to create that offer and you're ready to go for that journey, then we need to see what happens when you put that price point of 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 on your offer. What happens internally? And today I'm going to talk about the 5 most common things that I see with our clients in the last 16 years of helping people through this process. What happens subconsciously and what happens in their delivery, and how we can be more aware of this is our signs where we are kind of leaking energy in our leadership, and how we can make sure that we stay in our power as we grow into this space of vulnerability where we are, in a new place. Okay. So if I would say to you now, okay, I have the offer created, this is what we do in our program, Six Figure Workshop. We create high ticket group coaching program, one-to-one offers. That is one part of the strategy. We need the strategy. How do you create an ideal buyer? How do you price and all that? Now that's one thing. That's the strategy. But then comes the other side, which is the human experience of you actually selling that. And if you are not selling that, it's not always about the strategy that is not working. The strategy might be completely right. It's more that you are blocking it in different ways. And I'll tell you the 5 ways I've seen it over and over again. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to start? Are you just telling me if you are ready to start with this? If you feel like this is something that you know that you're doing, if it's something that you are not even aware of? Tell me a bit more. How are you feeling about this conversation? So many of you are back. 28 people. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see that you're in this. You're with me. You're in this conversation, curious. Oh, incredible. Amazing. Okay. So the first thing that I see when someone goes from their pricing, no matter where, if they're already high ticket coaches or they are just starting with high ticket and they double the price or 4 times the price. I've seen, people 10 times the price, 20 times the price. First thing that happens is that they are subconsciously ashamed of charging more. There's a shame that comes up, and that shame is where they start to leak power. So they might have people coming into their word, and feel free to share in the chat if you can resonate with this, if it happens to you, that you put the new price, you're ready to go. And when you are giving a workshop, for example, if you're giving a method workshop, or you are speaking on a sales call with the lead and presenting your offer, or you are actually delivering the offer, you are feeling not good enough. So you end up over giving. And you actually end up over giving and over talking and starting to justify your value. How that can look like, I'll share with you. I had this client, Benny. He was starting to sell. He was learning sales with us. I was training him in sales, and he was going for his high ticket call with the new pricing. And the intention was that he would speak for 45 minutes. 90 minutes later, he comes out from the call and he said, "That was amazing. I was coaching him for 1.5 hours. It was great." And I said, "Okay, what happened? Did you have a sale from that? What happened after?" "I don't know, but I went through his website and I looked over all the things that he's doing, and I helped him to really design everything. And And I told him that we can do in 10 installments. And I gave him a new price. And I said, what do you mean you gave him a new price? Yeah, I gave him like a special price. And I said, but we already have a founder's price for this program. No, yeah, but I gave him another special price. And I was thinking, okay. So part of you is over giving, over coaching in a sales call, giving a price that is undercharging again, even if you've said that no more, you're still kind of in that state. And at the same time, you are also creating this like overwhelm for the potential client because this lead, he did not come back. Even with the in this like price that in all the coaching that he have given him, he did not join the program. Why? Why do you think he did not come back? Try with me in the chat. Why do you think this client did not say, yes, amazing, you have coached me, you have shown me everything, you have given me, you given me the price. Why did he not come back? Why did he not say yes? You gave him everything he needed. He changed the deal. Didn't create a shift to step into. He already got a lot. Overwhelm. Well, no value. The real reason was that he forgot who he was. Benny forgot his power. Benny forgot his premium identity. He forgot what he came in with. And he was ashamed of the price. So for him to justify the price, he was justifying the pricing and everything that he will get. He promised the moon and more. He overcoached. He gave him a lower price. Yeah. So he ended up giving so much that this client felt, but you are not premium. You are not in this identity of leadership where you stand behind your pricing. The client did not feel safe. It felt desperate. Yeah, exactly, Karen. When you start to justify your value, it happens in sales score when you're starting to give, and you're gonna get that, and you're gonna get one-on-one coaching with me, and I'm giving you a special price, and this and this, and you're just talking. The client is thinking, oh my God, like I don't feel safe because you are trying so hard. You're trying so hard. Relating to dates, if the ones who meet the person you're out dating, you've been on that date when the guy or the girl is trying too hard. They're just trying too hard. And you say, okay, I need to kind of block you now from my phone because this is just too much. Because they are looking for your leadership, they're looking for your center. And when you lose your center, it doesn't feel safe anymore. Then it feels like, is this really someone that can lead me? Can they stand behind what do they have the authority? Do they have the leadership to lead me? And your clients start to feel safe when you understand that your pricing is not about your ego, how much can I charge? It's about your integrity. It's about your leadership. It's about you saying, I'm an artist. It's like Picasso, You have your years of experience, you know the value of your work, you know the return on investment for your clients. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. And you know that it's not about your ego of how much can I charge. It's just that this is the value exchange. So when it becomes not a reward for you, oh, I had a new high-ticket client, but this is who I am. And I redefine money as a sacred exchange between you and me. It's a sacred transaction, which is not about me having more or you having less or you having more or me having less. It's I'm gonna work with you and I work with you in co-elevation and I'm working with you in co-leadership and I'm leading you through this in a calm way, clean and calm. And that becomes attractive and that becomes magnetic because you're not rushing after the client. Please let me know if that is happening to you. If you see yourself like, oh, that's what happens to me. I see myself because the more you're aware of that, the more we can shift that. I know there were some big shifts in the group already. Is this already like opening something for you? I mean, I've seen some of the shares in the group. It's just beautiful. Just happened to me today. Okay, desperation is not an attractive quality. Felt desperate, lack of boundaries. Yes, it's not secure. So what we want to do instead is that we want to work internally on our capacity. What I do with our clients is that whenever they want to overgive, I will look at expand the internal process that you need to do to not do more. How can you be more, not to be do more? It happens a lot when I have people coming when they like, I just got booked on TEDx. Can you help me? I just got this opportunity. Had this client. She was an architect. She got booked on TEDx, and she was no, actually, she was already a TEDx speaker. She was booked for a business school to talk about her keynote. And she was freaking out. She said, "Oh my God, I need to study more now." And I said, "You don't need to study more. You really need to be more because they booked you for who you are. They don't want you to speak academia terms. They just want you to be who you are. You need to stop overdoing. Can you do what do you need to do to be more?" So the question I want to lead you with, what do you need to do to be more? Do you need to go to a spa? Do you need to go to the forest? Do you need to take a bath? Do you need to meditate more? Do you need to start doing some type of like what I do, for instance, I do heart coherence meditation, breath work, gym, working out, really clearing my screen. I look at screenshots, I call it sugar cubes. I look at screenshots of testimonials of the hundreds of people that I worked with that share with me how are, hundreds, thousands of people now in these last years, and I look at those testimonials and I read them and I remember what this work is about. I remembered what we can do when we work together. So this is what you need to really look at. How can you create a toolbox for yourself when you know that you're falling into this over giving, undercharging, over justifying in the sales calls, and you come back to your power and say, okay, what do I need to do? What is my toolbox to come back to myself? That's really gonna help you a lot. And the next thing that I want to talk about when that is very common is that when you start charging 10, 20, 30, 50,000, there's this belief that you need to be more accessible. And this is very, very common. It feels like, oh my God, but I cannot give more. Can you relate to that? You feel like I am already giving so much for this price. How am I even able to create more time in my day and more value in my work or offerings when I feel so capped in my time? I feel so I cannot give more access to myself. I'm already running so low on energy. I don't have more access. Like my family is requiring me, my team is requiring me, my clients are requiring me. How am I supposed to give more of myself? And if you keep selling access to you, which is your one-on-one time, you're gonna become capped in your income. Because if the clients buy you and not the process, there will be a codependency created in your work, and you will become the bottleneck. You will become the bottleneck of your own business because you have 24 hours in a day. And if you over giving because you are feeling that now they're paying me more, so I need to be available on weekends, I need to be available on weekdays, I need to be available all the time, then you end up really not able to scale because you are giving your time away. When you sell high ticket coaching programs at 20K, 50K, 100K, you're not giving more time. You're giving a process that's going to give them the return on investment that they're looking for. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, the return on investment, that actually, like, what are you actually, the added value that you can provide. When you don't do that, that's when you feel subconsciously capped because you think, I cannot give more time. I don't have more time. But when you realize that even in 1 hour with you, when you're working with a client once a week or every 2 weeks, and you do the transformation, the deep transformation, and they have other type of access to your method, then it becomes more scalable. And this is both for group programs and one-to-one. And for me, that has been one of the hardest thing to do as we have grown. I can tell you that learning to not give of me, but give of my method and learning to trust the process and trust our team and trust our program and trust the journey and still love so deeply like I do for each person. If I had, 24,000 hours per day, I would sit with each and one of you and I will go through, everything that you need. But I know that it's not possible anymore. It will be impossible at this stage to be able to create the type of impact we want to create in this world. So it's a kind of a sort of sacrifice of the impact, the love is there, and then you have to find ways to love at a larger scale. And that is why we create the method. Because when you have a method and you have a process, and this is why I give these trainings and we always find ways to serve you, you need to have a team. You need to have people who can serve your clients and love them as deeply as you do. And you need to have a system that is proven and tested that you can constantly improve every day. It's going to become better even after 150 clients going through our process in the last 12 months. We keep fine-tuning and tweaking it. We just added an AI tool that many of you are using. We are constantly working on how can we make it the even better, because there's always another level of mastery that you can improve. So it becomes more about the process and less about you and giving access to your time. And it can be as little as giving 1 hour per week or every second week. But if you have a process and there's other ways to add value for your clients, you can still charge premium and high ticket and can be extremely powerful for them. So what you want to do is to create something that your work becomes tangible, your work becomes repeatable, and your work becomes scalable. And people who join your high ticket premium offerings, they are joining you for the pathway, not your time. They want to learn from you, but they don't need you. They don't need you to sit with them. And this is one of the things that I've been clearing up with our clients. I call it the snuggle blanket. I'm like, okay, I know this is your snuggle blanket, and I know that you're afraid that you will not be able to give the same value if you're not so available, but we have to get rid of the snuggle blanket because you cannot impact at the level that you want to do if you keep doing this. I see that there are some people scratching their head and they're like, oh, okay, this is me. So you have to get to a point where you let go of the snuggle blanket of I am always available. Maybe that's what you think that you need to do. I had the conversation with one of our clients. He's going for his fourth group coaching program now. He just launched it. He had more than 45 clients since he started with us. And I had a kind of a deep truth-telling conversation with him on how he managed his time. We realized that he used his personal WhatsApp for all his clients, his high-ticket group coaching clients. They could access him anytime, on the weekends, when he's with his lover, whenever, really. Like he was constantly on. And he was still doing the hourly sessions when it didn't make any sense because he's selling high tickets. And I was like, why are you still traveling 1 hour to give? Yeah, but there's something about access to me and I need to give back. And looking at his schedule and clearing up, we realized that he was losing around 22 hours per week on those things of access, still giving access, calling people up and being so available. And those 22 hours were stopping him from the time that he did not have to create this program, to hire an assistant, to be able to actually do the marketing he wanted to do, because I don't have time. So you always have time. It's just a question where you're putting that access. I would love to hear what's landing for you already from what I'm sharing, because what I want you to realize is that when you have a scalable method, even high ticket, and you're not selling your access, that is really the last thing that you're selling, but you're selling a pathway. This is what's going to take you from 5, 10, 20K months to multiple 6-figure and 7-figure brand. This is really what's going to make a difference when you do everything in your capacity to limit the direct access to you. And it's really tough, especially when you love, but you know that you were going to love deeper if you can do this, because you're able to help more people when you are focusing your time on really outsourcing love. That's what we do with our team. We are outsourcing love. We are outsourcing love through the AI tool we are building. We are outsourcing love from the Facebook ad support that, being able to have, like, anywhere really where it's not my manual time. And this is something I really learned from Barack. It was really, really helpful for me. So, what do you do with a VIP client who's not using the availability you do have for him? I would say that you don't always know what they're coming for. So maybe they don't need more than you. Maybe that's all they need. And many of my clients, they will come on the call, they will pay 1,000 for the hour, the session, and they will say, okay, I'm done. And they don't need more that day. They sometimes they would not even come on the call because they're busy that week, and they just say, I just want to chat with you on WhatsApp this week because they have office hours Monday to Friday when they can talk to me about those things. So, it's not always that they are not using your availability. They know that you are there, you are plugged into their world, and that's what is really valuable for them. I'm going to talk about that in day 3, but in general, that's what happens. You have to understand that value for them might not be that availability that you have. This is the right direction to go. I've already learned this lesson, spending hours traveling on the local motorway. No more. I do everything online now. Yeah, exactly. Your customer looks for your center. How can you be more instead of do more? Trust your method. Yes. And here's Pooja saying, in this case, he has hesitation to lean in more. I invite him a lot. And here's also where we need to let them find the path. I'll talk more about it today, how to give them space, really, to give them space to find you. Because if we overgive in the container, it's the same thing. That might also be an energy leak of wanting them to really use the offering so they are happy with that, because if they're using it, then they're really happy with that. But sometimes someone working through their own resistance of opening up to help is what they need in that moment. And you have to trust their timing when they are ready to come back in. You cannot force someone to step in when they are not ready. You have to create a safe environment for them to come in when they are ready. Okay. All right. Next part. You are avoiding structure because it feels restrictive. So we talk about high ticket offers and what premium might mean for you and how you dance with your ideal buyer. We talked about how to be subconsciously ashamed of your new pricing. At every level, you're going to face that. If you're going from 10K to 25K, 25 to 50, there's going to be a moment of, oh, okay, am I undercharging? Am I overgiving? Am I overjustifying? We talked about how you're still selling access, and especially when you start to do super high ticket or premium, you might think that you need to give more of yourself, and that's not the case. You need to give a process that is really powerful and having the access to you within the conditions. Now, the third part we're going to talk about is avoiding structure because it feels restrictive. I hear this a lot, this ideal that if I'm creating a luxury experience or a premium experience, I need to make it, tailor-made. I need to make it special. If I give my one-on-one time at higher price point, I need to create structure to really work with that person. And sometimes it comes from this under undervaluing the process that you have created for that client, undervaluing thinking that if I have a group coaching program, I give that the one-to-one at a higher price, it's not as valuable, so I need to tailor make that and make it different for that client because I'm charging more. And in the same time, it might also come from you feeling that you want to be more creative and you feel restricted, because if you create too much structure, it feels like you are narrowing down who you are. Can you share with me if you can relate to that? That if you are super creative, there's this feeling of, I don't want to create too much structures because it will keep me stuck and I will not be able to be my genius zone if I do that. So when you do that, when you keep changing your offers, keep changing the programs, keep adapting to each client, you really get tired. And you might not be doing that anymore for your group coaching programs, but you might still do it for your one-to-one clients at a higher price point. If you charge 5, 10, I don't know, 50, it really depends what you're charging. But if you don't build structure, you keep reinventing your offering. You keep reinventing new programs all the time, new messages all the time. And it becomes very mood related. How am I feeling right now in my business? Am I feeling creative? Do I have a creative spark? Do I have, am I feeling good about myself? It becomes very personalized. It becomes very personal. So if you're not feeling good, then you don't have the confidence to sell your offer because you're doubting that this new tailor-made thing you created is actually worth it. If you're feeling good that day, but your client is not responding the way that you want, there's like a lot of emotional distress when it comes to that. So what you want to do is you want to create a structures that frees your creativity, really. You want to have something that you can lean back on and trust, even when you're offering, like even if you would have a retreat or you would have a VIP day, or if you would have a high ticket one-on-one program or a group coaching program, doesn't matter. There has to be a structure. If we look at Tony Robbins, he has a 4-day event, Unleash the Power Within, he has Date with Destiny. It's a structure. It's something that is repeatable, that he does over and over again. Every time it's a bit better. Over 40, 50 years, he's been doing it for so many years, but it's the same structure. When your clients come to you, they are going through a process with you. The more you have the method around that, the better. So when you sell a high ticket at, I mean, if I think 10, 20, 50K, it's so much easier to create something that helps clients to logically commit to that and see the return on investment. If you have an offer document, this is something you can create in our AI app. You can create that in the program as well. You can then go ahead and have like, this is what I'm offering, this return on investment. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about the value that you're bringing in that. But the beautiful thing about it is that it does not stop your creativity. Actually, it gives you a space to be more free. And this is something I learned from Carmel, Barak's brother. We talked about freedom and unlimited freedom. And I told him that for me, boundaries are important to be free. And he shared with me this idea that if you are in a room and there are those, pillars in a dance room and you don't see them and you are in the dark, you will start walking around, but you will be very careful because you don't know where there's those pillars. You don't know where the walls are. But if you open your eyes and you see those pillars in the dance room and you see the walls, then you're suddenly really free to move in the space. And it really opened me to this idea that boundaries are important, structure is important. So if I create a container for a client to say, this is the room that we're going to be in, and this is where we're going to go, and this is the process, and there's a lot of personalization around the process we're going to take you through because it's a one-on-one work, or if it's a group coaching program, there's still one-on-one personalization, but there is this space that I can be in. Suddenly, as a client, I feel free to move more because I know where I can go, where I cannot go. I know when I can contact you, when I cannot contact you. I know what is my agreement and not my expectation. And really, that is a huge thing because if you change the expectations that many clients will come with, if they're paying you, 10, 20, 50K, they come with expectations, but that expectation you can redesign into an agreement where you put the container of what is part of this and what am I not for you. And this is really important, especially if you're doing deep work. I had clients that, they were going through some really tough things and they were building their business, but they also needed some therapy. And I told them, I cannot be your therapist. Like you need to have, for me to work with you, we have to have a clear agreement what falls into the therapy part and what comes into the leadership development with me, because those are not the same thing. It was a very clear boundary for me to take on that client. When I work with clients who came in with their teams, it was very clear what is my part, what is your team's part, what is, really knowing how do we work together. And this is going to help you a lot. So creating that structure is going to help your clients to feel more creative and you to also be more creative because you know that you don't need to overgive, you know what is within your agreement. And one thing that really helped me was to create a space big enough for me to move in. If you come back to the dance studio, like I needed to have a space where I could be creative while keeping the structure and agreement with my clients. In the past, I used to be a LinkedIn girl. I don't know if you know my story, but I was like when LinkedIn came out with all the content creation, I was like a influencer, mini influencer for LinkedIn. I was speaking on it. I was invited to really big spaces, a lot of panels, lots of corporate events, and I was talking about social selling. How do you actually talk to people? That was really what I was doing. Like how do you human how do you speak like a human online? And I was teaching people how to be human on LinkedIn. And at some point, I was on the stage in Barcelona. I traveled so much I didn't have even any rent anymore because I was just constantly on the road speaking about social selling. And at that point, I just felt like, wow, I've outgrown this LinkedIn thing. I felt like I'm so bored. Like I hear myself talk about it. I cannot hear myself talk about it one more time. So I had this huge like breakdown, not knowing who I was for 6 months after that. I cannot talk about LinkedIn one more day of my life. Like honestly, like I haven't been on LinkedIn for years now. I still have a very impressive account, but I haven't been there for maybe 4 or 5 years. But anyway, it took me 6 months to realize that I put myself in a too small box to really have everything I want to talk about in that box. And from that moment, I opened my company called Thought Leadership Academy, which is still very much about method development positioning. It was my company I had for almost a decade before starting this. And the beautiful thing about Thought Leadership Academy was that I could talk about method development, I could talk about business, I could talk about leadership, I could talk about public speaking. And my what I call my umbrella topic was broad enough for me to be everything that I want to be and keep growing with it. And when I met Barack, Thought Leadership Academy, I closed it and I opened Mine Artists with Barack, but it was still the same thing. It was still the same umbrella topic. It still is what I love the most, seeing people shine with their creative ideas and scale that. So in the last decade, it hasn't changed because my umbrella topic is holding me. Like Mine Artist is holding my expansion. I cannot get bored. Like there, I can be everything I need to be. If I want to talk about sales, I can do that. If I want to talk about money, I can do that. If I can want to talk about leadership, relationship, co-founder relationship, I have space to be all of me. And the difference becomes that my umbrella topic is great enough for our clients. And I fall in love with our clients. I fall in love with all of you, and I care about what you need. You see? Because if I see that many of you are struggling with upping to your pricing to the next pricing tier for your business, then I go and I do a training for you and I serve that purpose. But my programs and the program we create with Barack is they are the niche. So the six-figure workshop formula, it's very specific. This program will help you to create the workshop that will help you to create a stable, sustainable income with group coaching program and method program, one-to-one, method program, group program. Like that's it. It's a very specific program. So the niche and the outcome is specific, but my umbrella topic is broad enough to hold me. It has to be broad enough, but also small enough, because I cannot talk about business coaching. That would be too broad. But method development and having and building a method business that is you, it has everything I need in it. How is this landing? I really want to hear how you are integrating this because this is a huge one for me. That feeling of creative expression and balance between structure and restriction, how that has helped me to develop this concept about umbrella topic. It has helped us to create repeatable frameworks and create repeatable workflows for our team. So we have 6 people working full time with us in our company now, and we have created repeatable workflows for our team. We have created repeatable workflows for our program. There is a process. There are assets that you can watch and listen that are, tested and proven and constantly improved, but there's a process. And so therefore I can focus my energy on improving the process and fine-tuning the teachings to really be aligned with who I am and my deepest understanding of this work today, not 16 years ago, not 5 months ago, but who I am today. There's space for me to keep growing with this. I would love to hear. I'm so looking for that word for me, what method development is for you. Yes, I wish that for you. Finding that word, make it a quest. It really is a beautiful quest to be on, to find that word. Slowly able to come back to this process of vision and program, what the right. Welcome back, Pooja. We are happy to have you. Ah, good. Also, as a coach, my clients generally tell me how they worked out an issue themselves because I wasn't immediately accessible, which empowered them. Yes, right, Donna? That's what they need. They need our leadership. They don't always need us, our access. Sometimes you need to, because you love them, you need to give them space because it's not, otherwise, we are over mothering our clients and that's not going to help them. And that's the toughest one, to know when to step back and when to you will know it the more you will feel it, just holding that love and say, okay, I know this is the best for them right now from my point as a mentor for them. The structure of the three shifts gives me the opportunity to be creative and flexible and not to run into 100 opportunities which come up in my mind. Volker, yes, I feel you. Exactly. It gives you really that structure that you need to be able to hold the focus and still be very creative. Mhm. Sue is asking, so if I give an offer of 3,000 for 3 months and I offer 5,000, do I then offer this over 5 months? For me, pricing is really an energetic, alignment. You can offer 5,000 for 3 months if you feel like it, if that's your truth. But if you are feeling a resistance, and then maybe 3,000 for 3 months is where you should be until you feel comfortable to charge five. It will come a moment when you feel like I'm so undercharging. This is time, you're just gonna feel it because you'll give you that confidence. So it's never about putting the highest price. It's really to find that price energetically aligned with where you are now and where they are and how to match that. I'm already loving this time, but I don't yet have all of my method and offer in place. So it's a bit unclear, but I just need to absorb more. Yes, it will click. It always does. In the last 16 years, I have yet not met anyone who has not had this moment of click, and it all comes in your own timeline. I really believe that. I know it I'm certain about it that it will all come for you. And the path there, well, might come from this masterclass. It might come from a conversation and a coaching session. It might come from one of, working with the AI tool or having a strategy session. It comes from different angles because you always get what you need and you always get what you need personally for you to grow. And I know that such a holistic program that you are able to really step into that. All right, how are you all feeling? I would love to share two more with you, and I would love to hear how is this landing? What's landing the most from what I shared before? Is it that the subconscious shame that comes up with over justifying under giving? Is it that you are still selling access? Is it that you're avoiding structure? Which one do you feel like is a big one for you today? I love the idea of having an umbrella topic. It takes the pressure off my method program, feeling like it needs to be everything because there will be other offers in the future. Right now, I don't even exist. Yeah, exactly, Karen. So the best thing to do is to create, you have somatic school, right? You somatic practices, and then you have a specific program that is specifically, let's say, for practitioners around this specific area. That's how we can grow that. All right, I would love to hear in the chat. Feel free to share. I want to hear your insights, your understandings. What is that realization that you're already having? Like you can go with, I realized dot dot dot. Let's do that for a second. I realized dot dot dot. So Dana has not even started. She's a part of our November cohort starting, and she's already priced 30% more. That's awesome. I am so excited for you. Let's fingers crossed for that, and that you're already stepping into this identity. Premium price about integrity, not about ego. Yes. I'm lacking structure because I'm scared of my power. I know as soon as I get the structure and keep myself with what I promise myself to do, I will succeed. So, Anita, this part is normally related to our masculine. So, there is, if you're familiar with the feminine, the masculine energy and feminine energy, look into the wounded feminine and the healthy feminine, and the wounded masculine and the healthy masculine. And then you will see that many times the lack of structure and the fear of power is related to a wounded masculine. And many times it has to do, I don't know your story, but it has to do with the father figures and the father wound, and healing the masculine and feeling trust and safety with the masculine. It really helps a lot when we have clients that who go through that process of kind of not keeping the word to themselves. I really invite them to go on a journey of doing healing their wounded masculine to be more healthy and safe within themselves. It really helps. All right, Maya, I realize my money blocks feel more relational and financial now. I need to find and line up with my ideal buyers, because then I will be lined up with the income that matches my new premium mindset. So the being in the room conversation feels more relevant. Beautiful. Leonie is saying, I know that my subject is just the start. I'm just the beginning and don't feel ready for premium prices. And this comes, Leonie, with the start. It has to mostly to do with cultivation of your inner confidence and love and believe in yourself. So it doesn't have to do so much with, am I in the beginning? Am I in the, like, have I done it for 20 years? I meet people who are, you all met them. Incredible people, work 20, 30 years and they're undercharging. It has nothing to do with the experience. It has mostly to do with believing that what you have to offer is so valuable that you want to be able to do it at the highest level to really create the best conditions to give the transmission that you are here to give. And this is what we're going to look at tomorrow. It's going to help you a lot tomorrow to go into that. I realize that I don't have to be confined by my own structures. I get that they're good for others, but I've always felt restricted, limited by naming them for myself. Beautiful, Ariel. Yeah. And the structure can also be as loose as you want it to be. I have a loose structure. Today, there was another topic for today. If you look at the landing page for this masterclass, there's another topic. Did anyone realize that? Yes or no? Probably not. Why? Because I was listening to what you needed. Yesterday, I was listening to what the group needs. So I chose that to step away from the structure, because for the collective, for the higher good of the collective, this is the topic we need to go to. So you can have a structure and still be flexible enough if you know what you are offering is going to be even more valuable for your audience, and rearrange the agreement. This is something that I really believe in. So structure can be a loose structure as long as you communicate that with your clients and your communication. Uh, yes, I'm so much clear about this whole process. Yes. I realized that I need to let go of the access. I too love the umbrella, which can expand the method. The over deliver is wasting of your energy. Structure is what I'm missing. David Hookney, one of UK's most famous painters, said, preparation, structure leads to spontaneity. Yes, Benji, you're amazing. So good to have you here with us. I realize this all sounds so logical, but I have some heavy block not allowing me to attract the clients to charge. Let's look at this. This week we are really clearing up and opening and opening and opening. It's gonna all unfold softly, gently. I realized that I have a lot of confidence in the delivery of my services one-on-one, but I have no confidence in stating my value. Your art is so appreciated. Beautiful. I will get that doing to program, I guess. Yes. Laura is saying, I resonate with the shame that comes with shifting to a new level, asking for higher price. Right. Okay, amazing. And I'm going to take Pooja as the last one. I'm going to go to step 4 and 5 of today. I'm on my way to ask 1 2 people from a group, who have high-end thriving business to be more in their room. and I'm creating an overview financially as it has been wild the past intense months. And I feel more at ease investing more in me, simply feeling good, like going to the spa where I can relax so deeply. Special waters more again, even through money, is quite a challenge at the moment since I dropped the court case against my wild client without choosing for my sanity, feeling well, health. Yes, always choose the spa. Always choose the sauna, always choose the hot baths, taking care, massage. Um, it really is the being that needs to be nurtured when you are growing. And this is really what I see more. The more you grow, the more your somatic and like, your safety in your body, and many of you work with somatic, needs to feel safe to grow with that. So as I always tell our clients who are, jumping, we talk about quantum leaps, going from 1K, 2K to 10K and 10K to 20K, like those type of changes, or 20 to 50, when they are leaping into new level of like a pricing tier, we have to take care of the body so the body is on board with that. Otherwise, we create, stress and chronic illnesses. And I've seen it over and over again when people burn out. It's not because they are growing, it's because they are not like adding the amount of self-care that they need, which is many times also just time alone. Just be with yourself in silence, not on your screen. That type of support for yourself, you need it in order to grow. All right, so let's continue. Number 4, the reason why you're having hard time in this relationship with your premium buyer, the ideal buyer that you want to call in, is that you're still playing for approval instead of leadership. I see this very often. And it happened to me as well, that when I had one of my first clients that was very like celebrity level. I met him in a conference. He said, "You take the keys to my company." Basically, he was an app developer, like Facebook app of the year in his field, like mega. I didn't know who he was. He just trusted me. He was running around like buying lunch to me and say, "Please, can you work with me and my team?" I had no idea who this was. But anyway, I came in. I kind of a bit happy in the beginning when he was very much appreciating my work. And when I read into his profile, I felt so intimidated by him booking me to work with him and his team because I had no idea how successful he was. And I started to self-sabotage. I was starting to seek his approval. I would do everything for him and the team. The team didn't like me, and I understand because I was really insecure. And that collaboration, this consulting, did not work well because I really felt that I was seeking for his approval of, am I good enough to work with you? And listening to Patrick Muratoglu, who is, I listened to a story of him sharing about Serena Williams. He is the coach that was the first coach that coached Serena Williams after she was coached by her father for many, many years. If you watch the movie, you know about this. She was, she's one of the world best athletes in tennis in the world. Everyone knows her. And she was always coached by her father. And she was first time when Patrick Mouratoglou became her coach. And when he came to her first practice session, she reached out to him. He was in the place and she asked him to coach him for practice session together. And she arrived late. Serena arrived late. She did not acknowledge him and she ignored him for the first 45 minutes. Can you imagine? So he is coming in super excited to work with her. And in her first practice session with him, she just ignoring him. She's doing a complete diva. And Patrick walks up to her and says, "Listen, Serena, there are 3 rules. When you come onto my court, you look at me and you say good morning. And when I talk to you, you listen and answer. Am I clear?" And she asked, "What's the number 3? What's the rule number 3?" He said, "I'm not afraid of being fired." And that was such an understanding for me to be able to work with people at A level like Patrick did with Serena Williams. I have to not be afraid of losing my job. or not being liked. I have to be direct. I need to set boundaries and I need to demand respect. And that level of integrity that he had with his work, even with someone like Serena Williams, he chose integrity over fear. And he believed truly that being a coach, you have to be ready to get fired because otherwise, what are you doing? And that's how we lead. We cannot ask our clients to approval. You have to see yourself as a mentor. At that level, they are not looking for your approval because everyone around them are giving them approval, especially if you work with executive directors, founders, people at very high level. But even if they're paying you 10, 20, 50,000 and you are trying to get their approval for, am I doing a good job for this money? You're gonna get exhausted and you're gonna have an emotional burnout. So when you don't claim that authority, you will end up hand-holding clients, doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, and you will get very much into emotional burnout instead of transformation. What you need to do is to create boundaries. You need to create decisions. You need to really manage the leadership, not fall into their emotions. And this is so important because if you are trying to get validated by your clients, you're not leading a transformations. They don't want another friend. They want someone that can be honest with them and they can trust. Someone that says, listen, this is not you. Now you're self-sabotaging. Like the type of conversations I have with when I do one-to-one VIP, when I work with some leader on, getting them to really double their income or get on the big stages or go global, wherever I'm working with them on, I have to be ready to get fired, knowing that I will choose leading and being like whatever is I'm feeling and seeing because of my expertise, I have to speak it out because they're paying me for that. They're not paying me to sugarcoat them and say, you're so amazing. They're paying me for me to say, hey, you're not playing at the level that I know you can play. And also being the good cop and the bad cop, having days when I'm really honest and say, hey, we need to step up here. There's something that you're self-sabotaging, and I'm not here for that. You didn't hire me for me to say that's all amazing because it's not, and you're not playing in your league. And having days when they are feeling doubt and being able to get them up and really remember who they are. See, so this is really why they come to you. They are coming for your leadership. They're coming for you saying, I'm stepping in and I'm here to, like, I have a higher love for you. My love for you is I'm not going to buy into your bullshit. I hope that, I'm not buying into your BS. I know that you can do more. You can be more. I know that this is not what you want. Now you're going into a story, and I'm not going to go there with you because I love you. Because I love you, I'm not going to go there with you. I'm not going to fall into those stories because you did not come here for me to validate your stories. You came here because you want to create a change. You came here because you want to really grow your business this year. You came here because you want to go visible. You came here because you want to change something profoundly and you're ready for that. And now you're here. So we are not going to be playing this game of me just validating you because I'm afraid to get fired. And this is where you have to have more than one client. This is why you need to have a group coaching program with many clients and having 3 to 5 one-on-one clients. Because if you create dependency on your high ticket clients that I see over and over again people do with one premium clients, and they are super stressed and nervous because if they lose that client, they have nothing. They're getting great income. Maybe they have, cash in the bank, 10, 20K, and then nothing happens. Or they have 3K coming in every month, but that's all that they got. They become dependent. So you need to have this, capacity to be detached. And I don't know, I don't talk much about dating because I have been in long-term relationship for 17 years. But what I do know is that when I do date and when I date, it's or if I have a friend, I don't have one friend. Because if I have only one friend, I become attached. When I dated, I would have two or three dates at at the same time because if that person doesn't answer, then I will meet him. And that is making me not attached. My energy is clean, right? The same with your clients. If you have two or three high ticket clients, you have 10 people in your program, you don't have that fear. You're not afraid of losing them and saying, hey, you know what, Anna, I think that what you're sharing with me and knowing you, this is what I really think about it. And to be able to have those honest conversations that they will say, thank you, nobody told me this. Thank you for calling me out on those things. This is why I'm here, because I want to hear the hard truth and I also want to get the love. But I'm here for this. I'm here for the honesty. I'm here for the truth because this is what I need with love. Your higher love is leadership in this way. How is this landing for you? This is a huge one for me that it took me quite some time to learn. And it came with not having an attachment to just one client. It came with learning to, especially from Patrick and the story with Serena, how to not be afraid to get fired by my clients if I am in my highest good for them and I'm thinking of them to stay in my power no matter what. Are you in this power? Do you see that that's where you fall? Are you afraid of losing your clients? How is your relationship to this conversation around this topic and leadership? Jagoda, Sue, Leonie, Karen, Blanca, Volker, love to hear all of you. Are you still feeling that you are playing for approval instead of leadership? Do you feel like it's important for you to get validated for your client being happy? Like, are you looking for the client to be happy, or can you stand the discomfort of someone going through transformation and loving them when they need space, leaving them the space to go through it, not make it about you? It's good I'm soaking this up. I don't need validation from a client. Unattachment, remaining natural, really important. Can definitely fall into not feeling enough and seeking approval. Yes. So if you're saying I'm such a people pleaser, this is gonna be extremely, not extremely, but it's gonna be dangerous. If you go into high ticket, you will just have more of that. So you need to change this behavior now. If you want to be able to work at a higher price, for people to be able to step in with you, you need to be able to say, I am staying in my power, I'm keeping my boundaries, and I'm here and I'm serving at the highest level, which means that sometimes my client is not happy what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm having really tough conversations with them. I had conversation with clients when I basically told them, with your permission, you're falling into victim consciousness right now. And I'm not gonna play that. Like you're justifying the reasons why you're not doing what you want to do. And it's tough. Do you want to keep being in this victim consciousness in your stories, or do you want to change that? And that was so tough to say because it's a very tricky space. And the next time I see them, they have changed. They have had the week. They did not talk to me. They went through their own internal process and they came back. And they say, okay, I sat with what you said and I went through that and I don't want to stay in this and I shifted that. And they have done the whole process by themselves because that's what they needed at that moment. They needed me to stay with them and not make it about me. Let's see. Completely connect with leadership being the highest form of love and the requirements to be authentically fully present, the best that you can be for the client with positive regard, unattached. Beautiful, Andy. Yeah, you work with leadership, and Andy is doing amazing work in the French mountains with leadership development. It's so cool. So yeah, you totally understand the value of that. Even if they are, stuck on the mountain, if they don't ask for you to help them, don't do that. Don't overmother your clients. You have to give them the space to really see what they really need at that moment to grow. I might get uncomfortable when they are unhappy with me. Leonie, amazing. This one is this is a very big principle. And Tamara, I don't know if she's here today, but she has been trained directly by um, the guy who wrote the four principles, Don Miguel, is that his name? The tell I don't remember the name, but she has been trained by him directly, and one of those principles is don't take things personally. But you have to remember that they come in like any human and they have all their triggers and they have all their childhood traumas and all their belief systems, and you are just there to love them. You have to stay in, the more you can stay in your calm, in your presence, in your love, and just let them go through the process and not make it about you. Because if you make it about you, you create codependency. And I am a big believer of breaking codependency in co-leadership, in coaching, consulting. Because otherwise we create attachment. And you get the validation from them being happy, and they're getting validation from you being there all the time. And then you create a codependent relationship again. So we are not breaking that. So instead, what we want to do is to learn to find our internal processes for what we need for our inner child and our inner, what do we need to do to create safety in ourselves so we can stay in our leadership. And when someone comes and they are angry and they are distressed or they are stressed or anything, knowing when to step in and say, okay, I messed up, or I can help with this because this is where I'm coming in as a coach, or this is not about me. This is really about them being able to express something and go through the process of disappointment, fear, scarcity, because they have to go through that right now. That's what they need. But that's the healing, to let them be there and go through that. And that's something that we need to learn to trust ourselves in. The more you have a proven method, the more you have a process, the more you will be able to do that. Because when you're just starting off, it might be scarier. But when you have, you know, this method we have developed, I can trust the process. I know that it's working. I can open the testimonials in case that I see what our clients have been able to do with that. And I trust the process. Of course, we always develop. But when someone goes and becomes disappointed or angry or stressed and scared, I can hold the space to hold them and listen and be there and not always try to fix it. Because sometimes they don't need the fixing, they just need to be heard. They need to be there and say, I'm feeling disappointment with my last workshop. I'm feeling scared. And just being there and listen. And what you can do as a mentor is to ask, do you want me to support you here to really look at the solution, or do you want me just to listen? And many times they will say, I just want you to listen right now and to be there and hold the space for them. Knowing that will really help you with not overgiving. Unattachment, remaining natural, really important. It's good I'm soaking this up. I don't no need validation from a client. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so much goodness. I love reading you. But sometimes it's not my place to say my truth to the clients, is that, and not because I'm afraid, because my truth isn't the client's needs. Exactly. And sometimes that's not what they need. That's where we are also, the bad god, bad cop, good cop. Sometimes leadership is letting them go through that, and that's all they need. Sometimes giving them that lesson will give them what they need. So you have to also know, and the only way you can hear them is by hearing yourself. So this is why, meditation, breath work, practices, silence is so important, so you can actually hear what they really need. Okay. Let's continue to the last but not least. You're doing so good. For agreements, yes. Okay. Uh, Last but not least is the the part about working with clients at that higher price point. It has to be normalized. One of the sabotage patterns I see is that when you are surrounding yourself in circles where your clients are paying you a certain amount, but you are, earning 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, even 10,000, and that's where you kind of stuck at the plateau, is because your surrounding is also putting you into a subconscious ceiling. So if you are your family, your friends. And I talked about this yesterday, and I really want to come back to it, is if you are in a room where it's normalized to talk about high tickets, to normalize what someone is buying for 10, 50, 100,000, and it's not even a surprise, then things are starting to change in how you see things as well. So for your nervous system to recalibrate to this new level of working with people for a higher price, the fastest way is to put yourself in an environment where this is normalized. When it's normalized and you're talking with people, you're talking with the mentors, you're talking with your group members, you're seeing other people doing that, it becomes the new normal. So, in a way, you borrow that frequency from others until you believe that, and that becomes your new baseline. And I see it over and over again in our program because people are starting to pop, they're having results, and then someone says, well, they did it. Many times I hear when I record case studies for our clients, they share, well, I saw that person doing that. And I asked myself, well, I can do that. Why would I not do that? And then they go ahead and do it because they borrowed the confidence from someone else and they go again and they do that. So, environment is crucial. If you are in a place locally where you are not surrounded by people who are earning that type of income, if you're not going to those places, if you're not living those environments, then of course it doesn't feel normalized for you to charge 10, 20, 50, 100K because you don't have people around you who talk in those numbers. So one thing that I really like to do is to visit those places. So I love to work in four-star hotels, five-star hotels. Instead of going to a co-working space, sometimes when I'm just doing some emails and laptops, I would rather go to a four-star hotel, a lounge area, and sit and work from there. And just I invite our clients to do that, to really go and to be in those spaces, to just be comfortable being there, feeling that you're belonging. I invite you to attend, live events, masterminds, attend different, even if you cannot go for like a full experience, it doesn't mean that you cannot go for one day. You can go for a stay in a four-star hotel for one night. You can go for a spa day. You can go for just even having a coffee. A coffee costs the same in the cafe and the four-star hotel. Most people don't know that. But actually just choosing to make it the place where you hang out. Um, and start to go to those places where you belong. Even entering, even if you don't want to buy Louis Vuitton, like I'm not really into fashion at this stage of my life. For me, luxury, it's not about that. It's more about the experiences. But going into a store and say, okay, how do I feel being in this space? How does it feel physically? And starting to visit those places. Sometimes it's not even about the price point. One thing that I did, my ex-partner, um, and I lived in Portugal, and I did for his birthday, I rented a five-bedroom villa and invited 20 people to a weekend together. And it felt like a stretch for me to just be in. It was the first time I was in a five-bedroom villa with the pool. And that experience somatically really changed me. Like I felt in my how much shame and guilt I had in my body for just doing that because of why not? And it was not even a big expense. It was maybe 300 euros per night for 20 people. It was crazy. But the experience of being in a space and renting a five-bedroom villa at that point was so huge. So anytime that I can, I put myself into those rooms. Either it is, being part of a group program, a mastermind, going to a conference, but even just on a daily basis, starting to visit my new reality. And the more I did that throughout the years, and this is what I also coach our clients on, I was really supporting them to see that you have to feel like you belong in this space. You have to normalize being in those rooms and feel like you can sit at that table before you can actually fully commit to charging this type of pricing to your ideal buyers. And just an example, when I was doing my first paid keynote, I remember I was so undercharging. I was so afraid. Like I was so excited to get in. I was like, anything, really. I'm just gonna get inside and get to work with this amazing. It was one of the biggest franchises in the world. I got booked to speak at their convention. And I met this guy, Taylor, who was incredible speaker. He was on the main stage, and I was just really digging his energy. And I spent some time with him when he came to Europe for the touring, and he shared with me that he charged 25,000 for the tour. And for me, that was crazy money. I was like, oh my God, I charge 1,500 for a keynote for this company that's making multi-millions. Crazy. And this guy just charged 25,000 and he just like, yeah, I just charged, but they have the money. And it opened my mind to, okay, I can charge more to this company. I actually can, it's a corporate. It just rewired what I could do. And that year, I think I made around 150,000 just from that corporate company working with them in consulting and training their team and leading them through this process. And it was crazy. But him speaking with me and just showing me that for the same company, he charged 25,000, I charged 1.5. It completely changed my my direction of that year. So this is why we need to normalize who we speak with, who we have around us, so we can start doing that. So this is what I want to share with you today. I really wanted you to start seeing how this connection between you and them is really up to us, right? It really is up to you because you lead the relationship, you lead the conversation, and how you're gonna flow in this love story with your premium buyers is gonna really depend on your leadership, your self-worth, and also choosing to clear up things that you know will come up because it will come up. You will have moments when at every level where that subconscious shame comes in and you will overgive, undercharge, or justify. It might be in sales call. You can stop yourself and say, oh, I'm going there. Let me just connect with myself in my being. We'll talk about it tomorrow more. And then you'll be able to change that. You'll be able to start seeing that your time and your access is not what they're paying for. It's so much more than that. It's a process that is proven and tested. You will be able to really create the structure, the loose structure that you need, not for you to feel restrictive. I talked about the umbrella topic. And you are going to start kind of looking for the leadership, the higher love for your clients and not the approval. And last but not least, you will normalize how you are feeling with people who have money, who you feel, how you feel in those rooms. I would love to hear in the chat how is all of this landing, and let's open up for a bit of Q&A and conversation. I'm gonna stop the recording right after. I want to have open for you all to share so we can go a bit deeper into this for a couple of minutes. Questions, reflections coming up. Let's open up for a bit more. Let's talk about it. What are you realizing? What are the questions coming up? What are you realizing? What is the deep understanding from today's sessions for you? How can you apply this for yourself in the work that we are doing here together? How is this linked to your method? How is it linked to your process? Question from Leonie. What does leading the relationship mean exactly? This is something I need to learn. So leading a relationship, you are always leading because you are the one expanding the space. You are the one, you are as a mentor who is charging high ticket premium. The key word is that you expand people's vision of what's possible and you show them the roadmap what's possible. So the more you can expand their vision, where they can be, what they can step into in their identity in 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And the more you have a clear and proven process to take them through that process, the more you'll be able to charge. And that confidence will come from having a really clear method and process that you truly believe in. But also, ultimately, it will come from you having the experience working with this type of clients and improving it over and over again. That confidence comes from truly believing that you can help people. If you truly know that you can help someone, There's no marketing or sales in the world that can replace you having a deep love for the work that you do and the service that you do, and saying that I can confidently say that this program can change someone's life. Not because of me, because I'm just, I'm just the channel here, but because of the presence, the work, the commitment, the journey, the direction I can take them through, the leadership I can lead them with, the openness, the truth. Like I can confidently say that this is something that I can stand behind. When you have that leadership in your work, that you know that you can help that person. You cannot help everyone. There may be not people that you want to work with because they're not your ideal buyer. But your ideal buyer, when you meet them and you see them, you see their higher self, you see what they're capable of, you can say with confidence that I know we can do great things together. And I know that we can go to a journey on together that will really open you to this new identity, to this thing that you're looking to do. And we will step in co-leadership, and I will lead you through a process. I will really lead you in my best capacity, and knowing that, with permission, I can be direct, with love, I can lead you there, and also know how to not create a love that is attached, because the codependency comes from you wanting validation from your clients, and your clients feeling the neediness of not having their own leadership and their own power. What you want to break is that, and leadership is more in you are seeing eye to eye in leadership with them. You're seeing them, you're seeing that their capacity, you see what they're capable of, and you're there, you're running with them. You're not telling them, hey, I'm gonna call you every morning and I'm gonna, babysit you, or I'm gonna, make you accountable, because you believe in their power and you believe in them, and you know that what they're capable of, and you will remind them over and over again what that is about. Yeah, great question. Lots of insight, structure, being a leader, being confident, manifesting abundance. Sue is saying, I'm becoming so clear and therefore open to more learning and moving forward. A few weeks ago, I couldn't even get online because everything was new, and now it's not. Beautiful. I could join more high-ticket groups and apply my own method myself to feel I belong there. Yes, 100%. Give yourself your own medicine. That's a great way to go about it, Volker. And you will be able to create massive, massive impact with that, and also be in those rooms. Yeah, be in the rooms, join the rooms. And when you join the rooms, step into the rooms. That will be another one. Karen is saying, loving this. I recognize I no longer need to justify premium choices, premium lives and experiences. Right now, premium feels like a non-negotiable. It feels like an essential. Wow, that's a huge shift, Karen. Wow, amazing. Yes, yes, exactly. It's just a choice. It has nothing to do with how far ahead we are or not. Like, it's a choice. It's saying, wait a second, it's available for me. I want this now. And then you step into that identity, and then everything follows. Being true to your values is attracts the right clients when alignment is strong. Pooja is saying, I feel relaxed in my body after this call, as I know where I need to be and what I'm already actually doing, but contraction comes up when money, fear, and reality of the moment. Next step, please. I'm balancing on the edge too. Yes. So the financial fear is, again, something that you, again, in your leadership, when you are falling into validation from your clients, you have to stay in your power, even that without financial stress, it doesn't go over to them. And the biggest lesson for me is to understand and really rationalize my financial fear. Because many times there is a difference between discomfort and really being unsafe. Safety and comfort is not the same thing. There is moments in our life when I feel, wow, it can feel unsafe, but hopefully nobody here in our space is unsafe. It might be not comfortable. It might be that you are going through a growth process, and it will also happen when you are growing a team, because when you have to learn, okay, there is revenue, but then also you have to pay a team, and you have to pay different, softwares when you're scaling, and you have to pay Facebook ads, which is not 20 per dollar per day when you're starting to work in thousands, and you have, lots of money coming in, but you also have a lot of expenses and taxes and things like that. it can feel very scary at first to be able to manage a large amount of money coming in and going out. So you have to get your nervous system safe and to rationalize what's really going on. Am I really unsafe? In that case, do I need to get a part-time job? Do I need to downsize in my apartment while I'm growing my company? Do I need to take on some one-on-one clients, that are not at that price point? What do I need to do to get myself back into safety? Do I need to borrow some money? Um, do I need to tap into my savings? As an entrepreneur, we are kind of risk takers, and there are moments when the timeline takes longer than our expectations. And it's important to remember that I'm not unsafe. If I'm unsafe, then really we are in the world, and honestly, we are very privileged. If we are able to have this conversation right now here in this space, we are living in a Western society where we have social security systems, where we have incredible opportunities to tap into safety of many ways. It's not always comfortable, but there is a lot of parachutes. I call them parachutes. So when you fall into that feeling of unsafety, look at what you need to do. Do you need to do breath work? Do you need to go to the gym? Do you need to get off your phone? It's usually a really good thing to do. Do you need to recalibrate yourself? And then do you need to rationalize and look at your accounts and look at your parachutes and realize that if I don't have clients for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, well, I have my savings, I have this, I have that, I have that, I have that. And you will realize that most of us have 6 to 8 parachutes. And I'm just giving you some numbers, but we have so many parachutes before we get to a place of unsafety. And many times we think we are not as safe, but we actually are feeling a discomfort to maybe we are humiliated because we need to take a part-time job and we thought we're going to quit that. Maybe we feel like, wow, I'm touching my savings. I thought that would be done by now. But it has to do more with status and identity. Most of the times, it has to do with the actual feeling of unsafety. And the more you can hold that fear and rationalize what is really true and what is your nervous system acting up, because it's acting up in a new level, and that can happen even when you're growing a company, you start working with big sums. It's important to rationalize that and getting your first nervous system to a space where you can hear yourself and then look at this, rationally look at this and say, am I really unsafe? Okay, I'm gonna finish with that. And it's gonna help you a lot if you can reframe that for any level of your business. It's good to remember that. Okay, all right. So I would like to finish here, and it's been a wonderful time to be here with you today. Today, we really went into this. I will give you some homework to work on around these topics, and I really invite you to take the time to journal on this and reflect on this. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about value and how you create value and return on investment, and really finding that self-worth in your premium offering and seeing the value of what you're providing on a much deeper level is going to give you a lot of understanding and confidence. And until then, the replay will come up. You can watch it again. And I'm excited to continue the journey with you. Thank you for all for being here. It's been so wonderful being in this space with you today and really exploring these topics together. A softer day today than yesterday. Maybe not. Maybe it was equally transformative for you, but I'm excited to continue for day 3 tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye for now. Thank you, Rachel. Bye, Volker. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. What a wonderful time together. Beautiful. Bye for now, everyone.